what happened for me last week, because we were leaving on Saturday morning for this trip, and I had a long list of things that I wanted to do, especially with online stuff for the business. And I had all these ideas, but it just seemed like it's always flying past me, and I wasn't able to, have the energy focus to get it done. And then I started to change my thoughts after our meditation on Wednesday. And I was like, okay, look, there's 24 hours in a day. Yes, I sleep this amount. But what can I accomplish in these 2 days before we leave? And then I wrote out a list, and I don't normally do that. And I was like, okay, now I'm going to look at this list as if I was creator. So creator's looking through my eyes at this list, and it's like, show me that it can be done. And it all pretty much got done. And it was just like magic on Friday. The interviews that we did one with Ian, and then we did a whole bunch of other ones right after it. And the energy was good for us, which is sometimes it can fluctuate. And so it's like you have this nice plan to do it, but then energy kind of goes sideways, and then it doesn't work out so well. But it all plugged in, and I got a lot of what I wanted to get done before we left done. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, if you do everything as if it was creator doing it through you, like, what can happen? Like, I just kind of, that question in itself started opening up energy around. And it feels like lately there's been more space happening inside my awareness. And it feels like it comes from, I feel this group, this weekly check-in, because I get to share with you guys what I'm coming in awareness of, and you do share some of the times, but I encourage more of the times. Like if there's a topic that you want to talk about, bring it up. Other than that, I'm just sharing like what Joe and I talk about throughout the week. And just a big energy started coming in when you look at life as if it's creators experience through your eyes. And we met all these new people and got to hear all their life paths and their stories. And it just started opening up even bigger for me last night.
Maybe I can give you an inspiration of a topic.
Yeah, please do.
So I don't know if you've heard of Nicole Brenny, the Cards of Truth. Nicole Brenny.
He does cards, some kind of cards, like you put those out.
Not Alfredo. Alfredo is the student of Nicole.
Oh, Brenny. Okay. All right.
And yesterday I watched a video of hers, an update, where she was talking about looking inside yourself for answers rather than from external sources like astrology, cards of truth. And although she does astrology and cards of truth, but she now does them in a different way. And she calls it psycho magic. She calls it psycho magic. And so it's a reading of the archetypes that you carry inside, and it's rather a psychological talk that is attempting to dig out what you carry inside of you and work through it. So get your answers yourself, and then maybe with the help of astrology and cards of truth on top of it. But she says that she has noticed that people who are looking for external answers, such as from astrology, tend to become addicted. So they are looking for answers over and over again. At some point, they stop making decisions on their own. They're only relying on this external information of what is going to happen to me, right? So, which is something that I've also noticed with people who are too much in astrology. I mean, I love astrology, but I also see it as a tool for self-discovery more than a complete prediction. For me, this is not valid. So what do you think, guys?
On that one, I could think of crystals. And yeah, crystals can help and support you, ground you, help take away problems and give you energy. But I also experienced where crystals would take on other energies that I didn't want to have around me. And I realized I didn't understand it so much. So I chose to not wear crystals. I don't wear necklaces or jewelry. And so that I could get used to my own energy and I could rely on myself and my sensitivities versus the amethyst crystal to support me through a difficult time. even though it does help in sometimes, majority, I wanted to know myself.
Mhm.
Yeah, with me, I always ask questions inside. I'm always wanting to know things, and I know we get a lot of our answers, and it comes from the inside. Through the universe, there's always something trying to assist and help you. But I enjoy seeing how other people bring through things. I like sitting with astrology people or tarot or other things, and there's always something that's there to really help you. But I believe these meditations, like even what we're doing, is learning us how to look inside and receive our answers. And that's why I say when we're meditating, sometimes ask when we're focusing on you, ask if you can receive your own information, even though I might be saying something or Cindy, and all of a sudden inside you, the movie turns on and you get to see all this stuff that's been given to you by the universe. But looking inside is the biggest thing. Is we all got to learn how to do that. Just go inside, trust that voice, trust those different pictures and other kinds of things that are trying to assist us in different ways. So I understand what she's saying, and like I say, I in the natives with elders and everybody, when you go to ceremonies, sometimes they're just sitting quietly and they close their eyes and they just start receiving messages. So they will go up to a person sometimes and give them information, and that the universe feels is important. And I feel we're all somewhere messengers for others, even through astrology. Some people are just waking up and they've been asleep a long time and they don't understand meditation, or they haven't really trusted their own intuition and that. So they need to reach out somewhere. And then when they start feeling safe, they can learn how to go inside too, and start receiving all of that from the universe.
Yeah, in this meditation group, we send energy and give messages to each other. And there's something about receiving it. And what does it feel like for you? Get to know what it is when an energy comes in around you when you're on your own. In this group is a really perfect time to start. Well, what does it feel like when everyone is focusing on me? Ask the question. You're going to discover an answer somewhere along the journey. I feel like the bigger the question you ask, the bigger the answer that can come through for you. And I've learned that there is an art to asking the question. What I've noticed lately is kind of what I was going to talk about, which is I have noticed that everybody gets what they ask for. The universe is conspiring to give you anything that you want. And it can be like those subtle thoughts that you have that you want to achieve, and it may take years for you to achieve it, but yet you still get it. The universe is always conspiring along with you. But there's also a test. It seems like it's not a pass or a fail, but when it's coming to your awareness going to a higher level or a higher vibration in your energy body, it's like the universe will test you and say, do you really want this? And they will give you the opportunity to choose a path. And the choice is always yours. And it feels like, from my observation lately, that it's like obvious. But I don't know. To me right now, in this moment, as of yesterday, it's becoming really obvious to the tests that we are all experiencing. And it comes down to our thoughts inside of us. But just aligning with, do I really want that? Do I want to do this? Because it comes with, a change in perspective, a change in thought process, or change in your daily patterns. And if you do want it, the energy is there and you will have it. But then there's also recognizing that there will be challenges in it. And are you willing to go beyond the challenge, whatever that challenge might be? And depending on what you're asking for, if you're asking for really big things, I don't know. It's just really interesting. I'm still in the process of the experience, but it's opening up for me, and I feel like just sharing
Just
that with you
wondering
guys.
what do you think, Ian, about this view of astrology?
I have a huge, I've been, let's say it's a huge topic right now. I've been thinking about, and I've been kind of, how I approach astrology is very similar. I see it as a very, like a guidance map tool that you can help you. But if you start, being addicted to it, being, let's say, waiting for it to bring you things, I think then it gets into very, very, very difficult position actually for the person. And I want to just say a couple of words with this is because I think a lot of it is to do with passivity. So the way people approach life is like, okay, so let's, the government bring me something, parents bring me something, whatever, whoever needs to bring me something. And now we kind of replace it with astrology or numerology or cards of truth or shamans or psychics, well, what is the future bringing me? But it's in my view, there's a more active way of approaching these things. Like, okay, so what is this chart suggesting that I do? Okay, I can do it. I can try it out. I can, test it out in the real world. Is it working? Is it not working? Okay, can I improve it? And then can I take more action doing these things? And I think that's my approach with a lot of things. And I think, again, one more thing, just to kind of wrap it up, is the people who come to me, let's say personally, who come to me astrology wise, the people who get more out of it are the ones who are very actively engaged in, kind of dealing with life or kind of wanting to deal with life. And those who are like, okay, so fortune teller, tell me my cookie. These, this doesn't really, I don't think that really does anything for that person. I can say all those things. I can say, you can do this, you should do this, join these groups, blah, 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 to contact these people. But I don't think it will help them. And I don't think they will do almost any of it or none of it.
Yeah.
I feel like exactly what Ian said there, what we're saying, I am experiencing it with the universe. That invisible force is like, I'm starting to ask it questions and I'm starting to interpret how I'm feeling and like almost glimpsing my own future and then being asked, do I want this? And what steps will I take to doing it or not doing it? It kind of feels like the universe is being that divination tool for myself. And it's just in my own mind or my questions and my energy body that I'm experiencing it.
I think yesterday Cindy had a really big expansion because we were doing clearings for a lot of different people, and she could see where they were and other kinds of process of what was going on. And while I was clearing people, she was in her own energy and feeling things, and she was getting downloads and a lot of stuff. So by the time we got home, she had a bigger picture of all kinds of different things. And I feel for a lot of people who have been deeply searching spirituality and finding the truth, because I know for a fact that astrology is a very ancient science, and we're going to end up using it more and more and more, and it's going to get even more accurate. We're going to get all those pieces that are been missing or taken out. And there's other things as we go into the future, also the age of Aquarius, where science is going to really verify these things, verify what I do with the smudge and that, and they're going to be able to prove these things. So when I bring in energy and other things, there are going to be a lot of ways to prove this. So that's going to really make it for people where they can go deep into it and go, okay, through the science, I can prove all these energies. So whatever I'm doing, it's changing things. And there's, all I know is whatever I'm doing all the time changes many, many things. For some people, very, very fast. For other people, it's a very gradual, slow pace, depending if they're awake or they're just dabbling or they're somewhere just starting on their journey. But the universe is trying to speed everybody up and open us up. So people are expanding a lot faster. And science is going to start catching up. They're going to start blending and mixing it all together. And once it starts getting proven, it's going to be so much easier for people to go in, and we're going to come up with new words for different energies and that. And the old ways, a lot of them are going to get released because they're not going to fit in the future, and they're not evolving in a way that makes somebody even bigger because you want to become the biggest I always tell people, take your soul to the highest. You're here to bring yourself to this highest point you can in this space and time. And if you can do that, then you've done everything here. You've achieved everything. So I always pray that everybody is successful on their journey, what they came here to do. The universe will bless and support them to achieve everything they've come here to do. So all these things are tools. Like some people can sit in a cave and meditate and be enlightened and not do a lot of other things. Other people have a different journey where maybe through astrology, it's going to open up that space. So I just look at them as tools, and wherever a person is in their struggles, they're trying to find an answer. And I feel there's many of them out there. There's books, there's many different kinds of concepts that will trigger somebody open and go really deep. Then they'll find it inside themselves. Once they feel safe and they have enough knowledge in other things, they can go inside and sit with themselves and things will just happen. And that's what Cindy is starting to do. She's starting to allow that expansion and becoming way more aware of things. And I love astrology. There's so much in it.
Yeah. And I'm like, if I can do this, everyone else can do this too. And I'm like, but why can't they? And I feel that they're not ready, or it's not the right time, or they're not asking. And sometimes people don't know that they can ask to have this experience, because they haven't had it yet, and they don't register that there is something more than. Maybe ask your guides to give you a bigger experience than you've had before of creator, to experience creator in a bigger way. If you feel to, don't just do it because I said to. That's the trick here. That's the rub.
A lot of people, they have a fear of power, because we're always seeking somebody that we can look up to that's going to help us. And Cindy brought that up. And in the natives, they try to help you to understand that there is a power, there's some kind of energy or light that we work with. And so that's where tools really come in important to make a person feel safe to get to a certain point where they can rely on that power, that universal force. Whether it's in the past, whether it's in the future, right now is sometimes can get a little distorted. And so finding that, learning how to go inside and trusting what's being given and shown is really important. But everybody somewhere needs to find some sort of tool to hold on to until they feel safe to literally understand that the creator or that life force is a very powerful thing. And like for a person to say, well, I am Jesus, or I am Buddha, or, I am something bigger than my body contains, because there's an energy that created them that's going to create me even into the future to be something as big as that, or maybe more. So tools are very, very important. On my journey, I had to search out many things like meditations. I went to Buddhist temples. I went to other kinds of temples. I read stuff from like the Jewish beliefs. I looked at Sufi. I studied so many because I had so many questions, but there was so much fear from being a little child yelled at in a residential school by a preacher that no matter what I did in this world, that me and all my people were going to burn in hell because we were heathens. And that just didn't make any sense to me. It angered me, and it really pushed me to go, well, why does God love the Buddhists, or why does God love Jesus? I mean, the Jews more, or this or that other belief system. And I'm like, in the natives, it's a very confused thing. There's many, many tribes, and there's different ways of doing things. And they say they're right, and this one's the right. And it's all changed and altered. So it took me a long time searching, finding tools, doing different things, studying books, looking into astrology, sitting with many different people, medicine people, shamans, all kinds. And you get to a point where you realize you don't need those tools anymore. You realize there's something bigger. And when you go into that, it doesn't deceive. It gives you everything. So I believe for everybody on their journey, there's something. And just learning that energy is inside us, and we're meant to be these bigger forces, but learning how to even step into there, because this is a whole new domain we're stepping into. We're moving into the future very rapidly, and it's learning how to go in and trust and stay grounded that whatever you're doing is going to create and manifest something magnificent and beautiful as you're going into the future.
Yeah, I actually think that you're very right about moving very fast, because if I were to compare my understanding of astrology 10 years ago and how I see it now, it's completely different. Because 10, 20 years ago, I was using it like the majority of people are using it now, mostly for prediction. Tell me what is going to happen next week. Tell me what is going to happen next month, next year, when am I going to find a partner, and so on.
Mm.
And so at that point in time, 10 years ago, it would have been impossible for me to see astrology from my perspective now, just because the external energy, right, the overall energy has changed so much. And so I believe that at the moment, lots of people are going to be able to immediately jump into this way of viewing astrology and other tools, rather than going through the same path and waiting for 10 years until they realize, okay, I don't need to look for external solutions. And again, it doesn't mean that astrology has no use. I believe that it has a lot of use. You know, you're looking at the axis of psychological issues or topics, or what do you call that, energies that you need to work through. So there are a lot of, but it's all for self-growth and self-development, not so much for external actions of what you need to do. It's more that they help. It's like a map that is guiding you of what is within, and you're checking, okay, do I really often feel threatened in love? Okay, check. In my memories, I do. Okay, that ticks this part of astrology.
And some people are afraid of the future, and astrology sometimes can give them a little answer to some good things coming. It just makes them feel safer, and it's a tool to learn to trust. It's like going to a psychic and they're doing the shuffling and they start flipping the cards and they tell you all this stuff, and you're in this fearful place and you don't know if you're going to get past the next week, and they're telling you all these beautiful things, and it's a tool to give you some enlightenment or encourage and make you believe in something. And there's, like I say, there's so many importances to these things, and they're all going to evolve and they're all going to do a lot of things. And there's pieces that have been hidden and taken away. And when you can find those pieces and put back in the puzzle, things just expand and grow a lot more. So even for me, I find it very, very fun going to psychics or connecting with tarot readers or getting an astrology reading. It just like, it opens me up and I'm just like, wow, there's all this potential and possibility. So it just lifts me up, and it's like I'm getting more and more excited as I'm getting closer to becoming 60. And I say it a lot. I'm like, oh, you know, and I start adding up how many more days to my birthday. And I'm like, oh, there's something really big. And I just like, you know, and I'm like, Saturn return. And just, I don't know, there's just something really thrilling and exciting about it. So, but it really helps you grow. Like the more you find these kinds of answers and the more you find the beautiful people that are honoring these ways and they're really giving to you and they're opening it up as so big, and they're going like, here, it's a big field, go and play. There's lots of stuff here for you to look at. And when you feel safe, you open up and you use it, and then maybe you'll step into something else. And eventually it all leads to a point somewhere inside. You're going to go inside and you're just going to be peaceful about everything. That's why I encourage people to read or find answers and search for things. And I believe that astrology, there's going to be things even into the future that are going to be quite amazing from what I understand. And I'm just waiting to see all these things come to that point. And like I say, when we fit the science and everything else in and we really start proving all of this and giving them different names and letting go of the old dogmas and the old ideologies and superstitions, literally erasing them from that and putting the truth and really honoring that energy and working with it in the highest blessed way for everybody.
I think one of the biggest developments is going to be medical astrology. I think Lada said that, but I know from somebody, maybe from Krasi or from somebody else, that the oath for the medical oath from Hippocrates was supposed to be only allowed if you know astrology. So you weren't allowed back in the day to give the oath unless you knew astrology.
Mm,
Yeah.
very powerful.
Mhm.
Yeah, that wasn't too long ago. It was like back even when Nostradamus was alive, so like 1500s. Even then, that was happening. So you needed to know astrology before you could even study medical
Yeah.
sciences.
Mm.
But I want to say one thing to kind of from my end, because I think this is I'm going to sound like Jim Carrey for a little bit, but um, this is
Go
this is
for it.
this is really weird and it really works. But every time in my life I've gotten clear on what it is that I actually want. Like, for example, I wanted to be an astrologer, so a lot of astrology courses came my way. Started learning astrology. Now then I saw, okay, I want to be on Lada's channel, blah blah blah. Okay, now I'm going to be on Lada's channel because I got clear and made the decisions when the mentorship course came. I went and took the plunge. Now I'm going to be there. Now, again, another thing, I was doing readings. I was like, okay, I want to really heal people. I want to help them clear energies. I want to blah 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 blah. Again, like 2 weeks later, Lada posts this group, Joe and Cindy and you guys come in. I'm like, okay, learning about these energies and things. Again, I got clear and asked, okay, I want to do this, and now again I'm doing this. And now again I wanted to, again, another one. Me and Terry, I wanted to move to the countryside. And then now we're okay, I don't know how we're going to do this, what kind of, lots we're going to find or whatever. And now last week we found the place and we're going to build a house and we're going to do blah, blah,
Oh,
blah,
wow.
blah.
Nice.
So basically it's not like super mad science. It's just like, okay, what do I want?
Exactly.
And okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
And let's
I
wait
agree.
for the situation.
I agree
or
to
whatever.
that. The
But you
number one thing is get clarity on
Get
what
clarity.
exactly you want. Yes, I
And
concur to that
jump in.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you needed a lot of tools too to help you to understand and feel safe along the journey. And every time you find things, that door opens more and you can see clearer and you're more grounded and peaceful with everything you're doing. And you're not just scared running around like being in a popcorn popper and everything just exploding and flying everywhere. And that's the way the world is. It just, everybody is flying everywhere instead of just finding that calmness and having those correct tools and working with that, because it really opens doors and changes things. It expands you. There's a different kind of energy that's responding every time you go through one of these and you learn that another door opens, and it seems things speeds up faster. It's like sometimes I'll say a prayer and things will just, all kinds of stuff will happen. And I was like, wow, whatever today really open up and just so many magical things will go on. And then I see same with Cindy. There's days where things just take off really fast, and then other days is really slow. So those kinds of tools and that assurance inside and knowing that, you're doing things in a correct way is always very beautiful.
I just want to add a little bit, because the first kind of very knowledgeable, aware desire I had was like 2012, when I just saw, I saw like a Reiki healing lady who just did some magic on me. I was like, everything wide open. And I was like, okay, I want to do this for a living. I want to help people like this. And like it's still, I don't know if I'm doing the same thing, but it took, I don't know, like 7 years for that to kind of start manifesting. So it can take a lot of time at times. So and I think where people make the mistake is we like give up during the process of it. Okay, I can't do it, or I can't have it, or blah 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 blah. But if you just continuously build whatever it is that you're working towards, usually the kind of puzzle starts to, I don't know, form, and the universe. You can ask the universe for it, Jim Carrey.
I know, right?
Me, when I find doors closed, it makes me want to understand. It makes me curious. It's like, okay, I saw this person, they're able to do this, so why can't I do it? There's a door closed there. So what does I need to do? What do I need to shift? Is there a belief or something in my way? And can I be that? Can the universe allow me to do something like that? So I start searching and I start trying to figure out, and I'll talk to people, and I'll even sit with a person and try to get him to assist me and trying to open that door. And I'll listen to his teachings and I'll take the time. And if it's in alignment with the universe, everything opens up, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, this is just amazing. So it's like Ian, when the Reiki happened, it just blew his world open. And since then, he's explored and looked into many, many different things. Because next year will be 10 years he's been on this journey. And look at how much he's so peaceful inside now. And those doors just keep cracking open. And each time he wants to manifest or do something, the universe is responding so quickly. Same with Zarina. All of us are doing different things, and I see that with Cindy all the time. And it was a gradual pace, but it's like I say, everything is speeding up.
Yeah, it's also the energy that the person is in, right? Like if your energy is really low, it's hard to bring in those blessings or feel those blessings or see those blessings, because it's like a slower vibration. Doesn't mean it's negative or something, but it's like, ask the universe to speed you up, speed up your vibrational energy, match a higher vibration. Because when you can do that, then it comes in quicker, or it's a lot clearer. It's not so sludgy or slow. That's where I found that really helped to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I started asking to match a higher vibration and attract the people that are of the future, your spiritual family, the ones that have a desire to be part of the future, to help people. That one's a big one where Ian mentioned that, and I see in Zarina's work and Cindy's work as well. It's like, how does this help people? How can I help people? And when you're in alignment with that, the universe will respond, because, it's going to be crazy there for the next little while. And if the universe can bring you some new information that you can apply to help people, I can see the universe really conspiring to help anyone that thinks that way.
Yeah, and it's for me, it's like when Krasi did my chart, and then she saw all these things in my chart. She says she saw in other spiritual people's charts because she studied all this stuff, and she's like, you're the real thing. And I'll always be thankful for that, because that opened the door. And then Zarina came along, and then another door, and now Ian came along, and there's another door. And these doors just keep opening, and things just keep happening. And I always wondered how I would do this, because even as a young child, I was always told somehow I would connect with people all over the world, and people would tell me this. Even my grandfather would tell me things, and I'm like, but how? I don't understand. And I went through life, and I tried starting businesses and getting in with people and doing different things, and it just kept crashing and falling apart. And times I get really frustrated, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not meant to do that. And so I go back to framing houses and doing different things, and you have to support yourself. And then all of a sudden there's Krasi, and she's reading me my chart, and then she says, can I interview you? And I'm like, wow, this is something really big. So often I'll say prayers for Krasi, I'll say prayers for Zarina, Ian, Lada, even for you people. It's like, because there's something really, really big there in front. And if that door is closed, what do you need to do to get the universe to open it and step you into that big, abundant field of every kind of miraculous thing you can dream of?